Hey, it's Andrew Downs. I'm proud to support Three Beards Media, and I would love to work with you. If you need merchandise for your company, organization, band, softball team, whatever, I can help. From name brand apparel to promotional items, large orders or small, online stores, and more, I can help your brand stand out. AKC Marketing is local, based in Johnston, and we are an employee-owned business, so our costs are low and our turnaround times are fast. But most importantly, we give you personal service to make sure you get exactly what you're looking for. Email me at andrew@akcmarketing.com or find me on social media and let's make some cool stuff together. Now sit back and enjoy this Three Beards Media podcast.
All right, welcome back to another episode of In the Side of the Storm, where we talk all things Cyclones. We are live, coming from the AKC Marketing Studio with Andrew Downs, and sponsored by Rebelton Distilling Company out of Osceola, Iowa, and Dan Douglas with Greenberry Realty. I'm Dave Larson here with my Storm Team partners and Cyclone greats. And for those of you watching at home or on YouTube, don't adjust your monitors, but that is the one, the only, Mr. Vintage, Brent Curvey. Welcome back, Brent.
Big play.
Bad, huh? Yeah, we're back.
We're giving you grief.
Back and better than ever.
And of course, the legend. That's right. And of course, the legend, Marcus Pfizer. Marcus, good to see you again.
What's going on there?
All right, Brent. How did your Bears interview go?
Oh yeah, you
did interview with the Chicago Bears.
Moving, I don't know, sometime in February. To sign my contract out there. You know what I mean? As a sideline assistant.
Well, and
of nothing.
I've been dying to ask you this question. So when those rumors were coming up, you football guys, you all have back channels, right? Is this something you guys are talking about?
Sometimes, not really. Sometimes not really, man. Guys, there's a chance, but some guy that's just one of those. We just want to make it look like we're really trying to hire the best guy for the job and spark some controversy. That's all it really is.
Okay. Little competition's always good. Now, on our staff, our football staff, it was announced, I think just Monday or Tuesday, the days tend to fly by when you're busy and you got stuff going on. You got the Super Bowl game. But assistant head coach Tyler Roll, who's only been there a year, came down from North Dakota, has accepted a role with the Detroit Lions. So, Brent, there may be an opening for you up in Ames.
Well, congrats to him.
Man, that's huge, man. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Could not be a coach, man. That sounds be great, but on the hours those fellas log, not for me. Can't even lie to you. That's crazy. Talk about being away from the family, and yeah. I mean, hats off to the ones that can do it, but had to wait to my youngest.
Those guys work some long hours.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Well, hey, you're almost guaranteed every season, though, to see Malachi, right? Assuming Kansas stays on the schedule.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll see him anyway. But, yeah. Nah, man, I'm good. This coaching thing, I don't know. I just sit right here on the pod, man. There's too much behind the scenes stuff that go on. I don't know if I really care for it. You know what I mean?
Gotta put.
So you enjoy staying at home shoveling?
Say it again.
Got to put a couple zeros behind them commas.
Now things could change really quickly if
right.
across the door. But as it sits,
right,
to be an entry level guy wouldn't make it.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
I make more sitting on my couch.
Well, and either way, you still have to shovel snow.
Not me.
For those of you who are watching or listening, we got about 8 inches of snow in central Iowa in the last 24 hours. And we were just talking about the joys of shoveling. And here Marcus is talking, I had to pull out a jacket. It was only 60 degrees today.
No, it got down to about 52. It was about 52. It was went to have lunch with the wife, rolled the window down there. It was a little brisk. Look through the the steering wheel. Hey, it's 52. It was about 72 a couple of days ago. Let me pull it up a little bit. Love February.
While you walk outside and come back in, your whole face is snow covered, and you got snow drifts everywhere, and people spinning out at turns. They're trying to hit them a little too fast. Here's to Iowa, I guess.
The last time I was in snow was in Iowa.
That's probably about right.
No, when I came back, a good friend of mine who I went to Iowa State with, Danielle DeRuiter, when she invited me back to her church. I think it was in 2013, 14 when I was out there. But that's the last time I've been in snow. And it reminded me what winter was.
Well, you're more than welcome to shovel my driveway anytime you want, Marcus. And
I think I've lost it. I've lost that technique. It's not like riding a bike, like shooting it. It's a little different. It's a little different.
Oh man, yeah.
So since the last show, we've had a Super Bowl. Any thoughts on that game? This was the first time in a number of years that really it was decided by halftime. I remember the late 80s, early 90s pre-Cowboys where every game was a blowout, and it was just one of those things everyone got being just a 20, 30-point blowout game. What was surprising is this game was against the 2-time defending champs, the Chiefs. That was even more surprising. Your thoughts on the game?
I mean, I was telling everybody to watch my business partner's house. Brother's house. And I was like, this is gonna be the Patriots. It's like to me, because I was like, y'all know, I watch football, and knowing the Eagles D line, I was like, this is gonna be getting Tom Brady off his spot, like with Umer and Michael Strahan and Tuck. Like I saw this happening. And once they started making stops and not blitzing, I started pointing that out. They were like, "Oh, they're not blitzing." I was like, "Yeah, it's going to be a problem because they don't have to blitz and they can cover. It's not going to be no windows for Mahomes to get any balls off to. So that'll be an issue." And sure enough, I saw it in the first quarter, and I was like, "That's bad." So, and they never shored that thing up. So, kind of had it in the writing was on the wall for me early, and it kind of played itself out. So. It was kind of destined to happen, man. It was destined, if you ask me.
And for me, pretty much the same thing. Me and the wife was watching, and from the first quarter and he was already scrambling, I said, "Yeah, this ain't good. This ain't good. If they chase them that fast already, and he don't have nowhere to go with the ball, it's not going to be good." But I felt like the Chiefs have. The record is what it was. I mean, you can't take that away from them. They played well. They won the games. But it's been too close. Mm-hmm. And as the season goes on and you can scout, then you give a defensive coordinator 2 weeks to scout all weaknesses. it doesn't matter. You can be undefeated and then get to that game. And did the Patriots do that one year?
That's when they lost in New York,
right?
Yeah, when they lost in the Giants, in the Super Bowl.
Just figure out all of the X's and O's. We got 4 quarters to do it, and to be in the third quarter and say, the Eagles have still not blitzed. Like, come on now, these guys, they're literally doing what they want to do.
Yeah, they did a really,
I don't think
really
they
good
blitzed
job.
the entire game, did they, Brent?
They did.
They didn't.
They did such a good job of rushing the passer, but they did a really good job of making sure that Mahomes could run outside. They made him step up, and that was the biggest kind of. In the times that he did get outside, he was like running for his life, so there was no time to make any improvisation, right? So they did they were coached really well, obviously, but they had a game plan and it was pretty clear, and they stuck to it. And, man,
I'm sure that was a huge badge of honor to be able to say, like, we got this without even having to blitz. I'm sure they were in the huddles like, should we blitz? I'm like, oh, hell no, we just going to do this the way we've been doing it. And to go all 4 quarters without one blitz, that's beautiful. That's phenomenal.
I mean, think about it, man. It's 7-5, right? When you don't blitz, you got 7 guys on the back end just covering 5. So you're like, oh, we're cool. Like, we can help out if we need to. We can, and it was a lot easier. That changed the game plan. If we don't have to blitz and we're, making these kind of plays. So
was happy for the young fella from the other school down the road, to get that interception in his birthday on his birthday and to win it. That was, at that point we can cheer for them just a little bit.
That's it.
Just a little bit.
It. He had a game, man.
And I thought that was pretty cool. He walked into the game wearing his high school leather jacket. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool.
Yeah, super dope.
Slid right into a doggone Super Bowl.
Thoughts on the
That's it.
Thoughts on the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar?
Oh, that's been all the buzz. That's been all the buzz. It is what it is. It's really, really deep.
I guess I didn't realize the beef with Drake.
Well,
that whole halftime was sort of a FU.
It was. It was a total announcement, protestio type of announcement. That's a word, but I mean, it's just so deep to understand what's going on. It'll take hours and hours for people to explain it, and then like later on, you still will come back and try to figure out something different. But it was a masterpiece. What's going on with everything? The way this country is divided, of course, people are going to love it, people are going to hate it, but still, most views in Super Bowl halftime history, even over Michael Jackson. So, it did what it was supposed to do, and it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish, man. Drake need to sit down, though.
You mentioned Michael Jackson. I've seen like these. It's been pretty popular earlier in the week to go back and list the top 5 halftime performances, and I've been surprised that he hasn't shown up on a lot of those. Prince generally is in the top couple, but it's like people have forgotten Michael Jackson.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, it's an older crowd that will remember that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
But
these younger guys, it's all the clickbait, the 15, 20-second reels that they see on TikTok and Instagram that make it more popular than anything else. So picture of the beast, man.
would y'all think of Tom Brady's $800,000 watch that he was wearing? That's been some scuttle too.
I think it ain't tricking if you got it.
That's it.
I hadn't seen
What's the most expensive thing?
Watch?
What's the most expensive thing you guys have worn?
Probably for me was probably a $25,000 watch that my wife bought. That my wife bought when she was getting into modeling, like early on in our relationship, and she had been out in LA for about a month and a half. And we've always had a joint bank account, and everything like that. So when I came across the wire, like, say, what are you out in Fox Hills Mall doing? And she was talking on the phone. She just started crying because it was supposed to be like a Father's Day present and everything like that. But that kind of come across the thing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So, she explained everything. It took a lot of me to just, go ahead and say, okay, I understand. It was a Kanye watch. I understand, but man, about that to this day. I'm laughing about it.
She probably said, chill out, go for a drive in your Bentley. And we'll have a conversation when you get back. What about you, Brent?
Nah.
I mean, because I was trying to figure out what you did at the mall. Like at a mall, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you dropping them that kind of bag. Just a lot.
That was probably before eBay. That's probably not something you buy off of Amazon, right?
That's funny. Now I bought some. Well, at the time they were black diamonds. I saw when I was in Carolina, Steve Smith had a pair, and I was like, "Oh, shit, I can get those." Got my little, a signing bonus, and went to the jeweler and got my little $10,000 black diamonds, and I wore them in the game. It's like, oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, I
don't say you
black
lost
diamonds.
one. You lost one.
Yeah. Big. We played New York, and it was like a third and whatever, and I hit Brandon Jacobs. Whole side of my face was nothing. I was making sure his ass didn't get the first down. So we boom, stick him, take him down. It was like 4th and 2. So I jumped up, was hyped, can't feel none of this. Get to the side on my head and finally chill and get the check. So I was like, boom. I said, oh shit, lost the earring. I tell you where it was. So $5,000 is sitting on the field somewhere. So at that point,
did you go back and try to find it at all? Was it your home stadium or in New York?
We played in New York. So we played out there in New Jersey at the time, I guess. So
that's lost.
Oh yeah. Once it hits turf, it's over. It's like
there's probably a field guy walking around, a maintenance guy that has one earring in that's black diamond.
He probably threw it away.
You made his year.
What is that? Some Costco jewelry? That's probably what he thought it was. Some bullshit. Threw it away. But yeah.
If I could put in a plug for you, Brent, I place an order with Coach's Kolaches for the custom. I think you call it mozzarella pepperoni. Those were fantastic.
Yeah, dude. It's like our spin on pizza and wings. So we did the buffalo chicken. And then we did pepperoni mozzarella kolaches for the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl special, man.
I don't think I've ever asked. Where do you come up with some of the ideas that you guys churn out? And do you just sit back there and play around with it? Do you get an idea while you're sitting at home watching the game and pop up and try to put together something? Or where does the inspiration come from?
I mean, I love to eat, but too, it's just a combination of what goes with what holidays and where we're sitting at, and like, oh, this will be good, man. Can I toss this in a kolache? I'm gonna try it next week, stuff like that, and whatever I can get from my distributor, I just kind of look through their catalog and stuff, and I'm like, let me get some of that in here just to test it out and see how it looks, and then if it makes sense, then we'll test it out and see what happens. So anything gives me inspiration, man.
Those are good. I tell you what, got some birthdays coming up. Do you do anything with strawberries?
Yeah, I do. I do. Well, I like a strawberry and cream, like a cinnamon roll, and then strawberry and it's like a strawberry cheesecake sweet kolache. So same thing, just strawberries and a cheesecake from man. So make a strawberry cheesecake.
All right, I'm gonna be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
So we're still talking a little NFL. Who plays early prediction? who plays in Super Bowl 60 that's going to be out in Levi Stadium but I don't think it's San Francisco. I think it's Santa Clara.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
I don't know. I mean, according to the Cowboys fans, it's going to be the Cowboys. So
every year.
What the? Did you hear? What the hell is Dak Prescott thinking, saying the Cowboys are close? Have you guys? No.
This is a little apple drink.
You can't win in the playoffs.
I think he had something in the cup that was probably this color, but a little bit because I mean, you know when you start going down.
And I love the Cowboys. I would love nothing more for them to be in the Super Bowl, but it's been 30 years.
He just kept going. And he said, if you look at the record against what record? Like y'all lost to them last year twice. This past season, I think by a combined of 60 points. So I mean, I get to have the confidence and everything like that, but we know in your hearts they're going to be there. You just got to find another team.
That's so sad. Who are you
guys putting your money on? Because it's not the Cowboys. You're putting a 500 down now. Who are you putting your money on? It ain't the Cowboys.
I think the Chiefs go back just because it's with Andy Reid back there. The NFL boils down to who has a good quarterback. That's the reality of it. If you got a quarterback that can win you games, give yourself a chance. And Mahomes had a bad game, right? I mean, they did a really good job of scheming him up, but I just don't think that Andy Reid goes out like that again if they were to see him. But I'd say the Chiefs, and
they got to shore up that offensive line first. I mean, if you can't protect Holmes, you're going to be
made it that far with the O-line they had. That's the other part of it. You know what I'm saying? Got exposed to the Super Bowl, but they made it to the Super Bowl with those type of gaps already, right? So,
but they're all close. I mean, you think of their comeback wins. I mean, if they lose half of those games that they ended up winning, the season's not what we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even like the Eagles to get back there. I mean, they seem to have really figured it out, and that's a ball club that mirrors, the Chiefs a lot, where it's not about the hoopla and the fame and all of that. I'm sure some more players are going to be trying to get to that roster, so it's going to be exciting to see. I wonder where Deebo Samuel is going to end up at. That's going to be interesting to see. So I mean, it's hard to say, especially in football, over the free agency and over the end of the season. So, that's the reason why I think it's so hard to three-peat. When you have a team that's won 2 times in a row, and it's never been done. So.
Well, next week at this time, we may have more news on Brock Purdy. I understand that they're working through contract negotiations now, and they want to sign him sooner rather than later because that other quarterbacks are going to start signing contracts, and that's just going to elevate the price for Brock. So I've heard some numbers of close to 45, just under 50 mil.
I hope he don't sign early then. I mean, from what he's gone through, what he's had to endure through, it's time to reward him. I mean, being the last pick in the draft, playing out that contract the way that he's played.
He about to get paid that Pfizer money.
So Matt on Twitter is predicting that it's going to be a Purdy Bowl in the Super Bowl playing at home at Levi. And he's going to get paid that Pfizer money. Sorry.
Pfizer ain't never got. He got to put the P in front of that L. That's what he forgot.
It's missing an additional 0.
Man, he's missing a P. That's what.
All right, so
what he's missing.
All right, so final numbers. You guys are Eagles and who else? Chiefs and Eagles.
I see them
again. Round 3.
Man, Eagles and Ravens.
Eagles and Ravens. Okay.
Let's go with that. It's either Philly or Detroit, but I'm gonna go Eagles.
I forgot about Detroit. I don't. What happened to Detroit? Like
they got hurt.
See, and that's who I'm going to say. I'm going to say Detroit Buffalo.
Okay. I don't know, man.
It doesn't sound like you guys are buying that.
Yeah, Josh Allen hasn't done it for me against Mahomes. He's had that game 4 times now. 4 times? He hasn't won one.
They've struggled against Kansas City. But everyone struggles against Kansas City in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Except Jalen Hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts has outplayed them in both Super Bowls. You know, that one Super Bowl he lost, they barely lost at the end. So
yeah, that's true. True. Yeah.
It's no matter who got some men's basketball. Sorry, Brent, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it's a matter of who all they bring back. You know, the roster spots and the cap doesn't matter realistically.
All right, so we've got some men's basketball. Boy, our team has turned just like that. Marcus, last week we were talking about what's wrong. It appears that all has been fixed just with one person's return. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's hear a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll return on the other side.
Making great tasting bourbon requires the perfect combination of ingredients, conditions, and time. The longer it rests, the better it tastes. Revelton Distillery's new single barrel bourbon is made from 80% corn, sourced 100% from Iowa farmers. And unlike mass-produced bourbons, each barrel of Revelton's single barrel bourbon is unique, proofed on when it tastes best. As they like to say, it'll be ready when it's ready. And to ensure the highest standards of quality and flavor, owners Rob and Christy Taylor oversee the production and bottling. Every single barrel. Iowa born, Iowa aged, Iowa bottled. Try the new single barrel bourbon from Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com. When energy meets precision, anything is possible.
I'm Carter Hawley, the Chief Energy Officer of the Iowa State Cyclones. I'm full of energy on and off the court, but nothing gives me more energy than helping families find their dream home. And that's where Green Beret Realty comes in. They're more than just realtors. They're a team dedicated to getting things right for you and your family, just like we get it right on the court. Sometimes it takes a team to get the call right. And when you're buying a home, you want a team that makes all the right calls. That is Green Beret Realty. And here's the best part. When you buy or sell a home through Dan at Green Beret Realty and mention this ad, he'll make a donation to the We Will Collective, helping student athletes like me thrive on and off the court.
Green Beret Realty, because getting the call right means everything.
All right, we are back to the side of the storm. I am not out purchasing a home, at least I don't plan to anytime soon, but I am nestled in with the snow and my Revelton Mulberry Gin, as usual. All right, so guys, we were talking a little bit about the men's team, particularly last week. Marcus and I were trying to figure out what the heck is wrong. Well, everything seems back in order with Milan Momcilovic returning back last Saturday. ESPN College Game Day was in Ames. Set out on the court just before we played TCU, and it was announced just before tip-off that Mommy was going to be back. Back in the starting lineup. Curtis Jones went back to the bench, and poof, everything just sort of went away. And incidentally, then the snow appeared in Ames. If you were watching the game from home, as I did, I was really surprised to see a foot of snow, and there was no snow actually, but ESPN made us all think that there was snow on the ground. Momcilovic had kind kind of a off first half. I think the first shot of the game went to Milan, and then after that, it was just all Cyclones. Won by 30 points. I mean, just clobber TCU 82-52. Thoughts on the return of Milan Momcilovic to the lineup?
Well, the puzzle has been set back in place. Sometimes when you have someone put in a different role that's not typically their role, like for Curtis, it can be successful for a little while. It's kind of like riding, a vehicle with a donut on it. Not to minimize him or anything like that. It can, be in a place to get you where you need to go, but that's not necessarily what it's meant to be. So once you, get everything fixed and lined up, and he can strive in the points and the time that he needs to strive in, then everything becomes a lot better. The pressure and everything, if any is not on him, he's shooting the ball like he was shooting the ball, during the high scoring games. But that time where, he hit that wall, I mean, he wasn't making anything. So we really couldn't figure out what it was. Now that Milan is back, he's, trying to find his stroke. Like you said in the second half, that thing was as easy as it had always been. The first half, it seemed like he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. But the second half, it was super easy for him. Just see he catch it high and don't go anywhere with it and straight up, and it was going in. So that was exciting to see. I know these last two teams hadn't been the best of the caliber of teams. That makes me kind of worried. Really want to see the crust of the better teams and see how we're going to continue to fare against them because this is a very, very important time, during the season. K-State is playing lights out. I mean, that was a switch. They've won, 4 or 5 in a row against top 25 teams. I think 6 in a row overall, just watching, the teams playing everything like that. And so when I don't have anything else to do, if we're not playing, I watch a lot of the Big 12 games. I watch the Colorado and Kansas games. Good to see, my teammate Martin's son Sebastian out there had his career high, shooting the ball really well. So it's very exciting to see, and kind of troubling to understand that we got grown kids now, but that's how life is. They're in the point where we were when we started our careers of playing basketball.
So I just want to point out, Marcus, that you've talked about a donut on a tire or on a car and couldn't hit water falling out of a boat. I really like your analogies tonight. You're spot on. Hey, Brent, one of the things that I was thinking about as I was watching that game against TCU, and Marcus is correct. I mean, TCU is not a world beater, but they have some talent on that team, and Jamie Dixon seems to his teams tend to play tough against Iowa State, although they just did not play well on Saturday. Is it time for the rest of the Big 12 teams to just pack their tents and pack it in because Iowa State's back?
Yeah, okay. That'll never happen. I mean, the best conference comes down, man. If it was that easy, we'll have all the Big 12 titles in Ames. But nah, man, that's nature of the beast, man. Things happen during the season, and you try to plug and play guys, and like Marcus said, man, you can ride that donut for a little bit, but you can't go too fast, right? So now it seems like we're back off and running the way things should be. You can spread the ball out, and you get more opportunities to score and better guys coming off the bench, and that's always the recipe for success. So yeah, man, I wish it was as easy as rolling our hat and getting a W, but that ain't gonna happen.
Well, and I'm glad you made reference about the bench because that's been one of the sore points with Momcilovic gone. Curtis has been starting and playing really well, but then we've had nothing off the bench. We might get 4 or 6 points, and it's just been one of those things where you got to have something coming off the bench. And Watson came in, but he's not one of those guys that's going to really light it up. He's going to provide some athleticism, and I really like his play, but it's far different cry when you've got Curtis coming in and scoring 20, 25 points off the bench. Chatfield, he just went away. Now, last night against UCF, 77-65, and really I think it was a wider margin than that. UCF kind of made a comeback there when we were just sort of running the rest of the, deflating the ball and just trying to get the game over. But, for the most part, a lot of scoring. I think we had 7 guys with at least 8 points. Momcilovic had 3 points, but a lot more activity now. You see a lot more guys scoring, including guys off the bench. That makes a big difference when you have that play. First, you've got the spacing of Momcilovic, obviously, that opens things up and opens up driving lanes for Keyshawn and passing lanes. And you see some better ball movement overall. But now you've got Chatfield who's coming in, that he's the old Brant Chatfield, right? He's getting in the offensive rebounds, getting the putbacks in. You got, of course, Curtis coming off the bench. Heck, we even saw Nate Heisey start to score again, start to shoot. It's made a big difference.
Yeah, that's important. Like I said, once the puzzle is put together the way it has to be put together for the success. Everybody wants to start, mentally or want to be that player, but sometimes that doesn't make the team be better. I remember Deion Waiters at Syracuse. He wasn't the starter and became a NBA lottery pick, and he came off the bench. Ginobili didn't start a lot of games in San Antonio. Came off the bench. It's just, Jamal Crawford wouldn't start after so many years. Right. And Lou Williams, it's their role that they have, the plug and play with the players that, the 4 that they're out there with. And sometimes if you mix that up, not the right chemistry, then, things are a little bit off kilter. So to have everything, guys understand their role, what they're supposed to do, know how hard they can go. And, when it's time for them to come out, they can get their rest, be ready to go the next time, their name is called. That goes a long way.
And how is Lipsy actually shooting the ball better with that broken thumb of his? How is that possible? I think in Brent, you probably remember this guy, Tim Cremery with the Bengals, who played, I think, with like a broken ankle or broken foot in the Super Bowl. And even was it Jack Youngblood for the 49ers that played in that Super Bowl. Now, we're going way back to early 80s, but playing with broken legs. It's tough to compare the broken finger to a broken leg. I realize that, but he's actually playing pretty good, shooting the ball well with a broken thumb. How is that?
He's frozen.
I know you got. Oh.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say I don't know, man. Thinking about pushing through pain and you get sprained this and broken fingers and all of that. I don't know how well. Is it a shooting hand that he broke his thumb on?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Apparently so. And I guess he's been playing with it for most of the season, which is pretty remarkable, and maybe aggravated it till a couple of weeks ago. I think, was it Cincinnati or the first UCF game? One of the two that I think he jammed it and aggravated it.
Well, I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I've never had a broken bone. So that's one pain I've never experienced before.
Man, that's a fortunate career out of you, man. Man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Pick it up unless you teach it. Get out there and try to run down the court now.
So I broke my ankle once. I was it was a Sunday.
Skateboard.
Yeah, no. I was going for a run before church.
Oh wow.
And it was January-ish. And it's one of those sort of nice January days. I thought, I'm going to go for a quick run, and we had some snow melt, and I wasn't paying attention, and I'm literally like the driveway over from my house, and it had just started to snow, and I wasn't paying attention, and I ran just closer to the sidewalk area to come up my driveway. And I'll be doggone if I didn't hit a patch of ice that it was snow melt, went up, came down, and it was like slow motion. You look down and the ankle was like this.
Oh,
And I thought, oh, this isn't good. Of course, try to stand up. That was stupid. Crawled up my driveway to get in the house and yelled, "Hey, I think I need someone to take me to the ER. I believe I just broke my ankle." Well, it was pretty obvious. What's the biggest injury that you guys have played with? Marcus, obviously not a broken bone, but is there an injury that you have played with and battled through, whether it's professionally or in the college ranks?
Played with. I've had a thumb issue. I don't know if ligaments like in this thumb right here have been torn, whatever. But there's a lot of having the ball going up or people hitting the ball out your hand. So there was a lot of times like if I grab my steering wheel the wrong way, it will hyperextend. So for a couple of years I had to tape it up, and like that knuckle was a little bit bigger than the other ones. But even to this day, it's still sore. But I don't remember when it ever really happened. It does this weird like hyperextension thing, But other than that, pretty much that's it. Twisting ankles and stuff like that is what it is. You can't play with a torn ACL. That was the major injuries I've ever had in my career. But other than that, no, nothing.
What about you, Brent?
I got, you can kind of see, so I can't straighten my finger.
Oh, yeah.
So my finger got caught in a helmet. We played Texas against Jamal Charles. But so they ran this weird play, and I always sense the play, so I'd always shoot through it. So the center tried to block back, and then they brought a tight end to block back on me. So they tried to kind of sandwich me almost, but me kind of understanding the game. So I got in, split it, and in my hand, I was putting my hand in the helmet of the tight end to stop the kind of chop block, so to speak. My hand got caught in this face mask. So what it did was it dislocated my finger like that and ended up breaking it the same way. So there's a tendon that makes your finger stretch. So when it snapped, there's a little ball that sits right here in my hand right now, and that's the tendon.
Ooh.
So it snapped, and I can't straighten my finger. So
wow.
I can straighten it, I can't do it alone. So I can do it like straight.
Did you get up and your fingers like this when you got up, or did you know right away?
I saw it. So my finger was off to the side. I'm tweaking. So my finger was off to the side like this, and I looked down, and we were in Texas, and my family was in the stands too. So I just hit it against my leg, and I was like, whatever. So I ran over there, and they taped me together. So I just got the tape, the buddy tape, and went back in. But that was and it hurt like hell too, by the way.
Did you have surgery on that at all, or did you go back and play the next week?
I went back and played. I used to get shots right. Well, you can't see it, but I used to get shots right in the hand, so I didn't feel it. It was my senior year, and the recovery was like 4 to 6 months or something like that. And then, right after the season, you got, they draft stuff. And I know if I did that, I couldn't do anything. So I just said, forget it. Just
so all the years that I played, I had never had, you've seen dislocated fingers, football, basketball, and all that. And the last year I played, the last playoff season, when I was playing overseas, a ball come off the rim and for a rebound and plucked that finger. And so, like, we was in front of the visitor's bench. And so, like, I got the ball and I threw it, and I looked at my finger, and it was that way. And I was like, yeah. And so, I've never had a dislocated finger, anything like that. So I just literally just popped it back. And the guys was like, oh. So, I just taped it up and finished the game. Went home after the game, everything, whatever, showered, all that different stuff, and, put my wedding band on or whatever, and fell asleep and woke up, man, that finger was so. And I mean, it was just humongous, and I couldn't get the ring off. I couldn't get the ring off. And I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? I called my wife. We was talking about it, but like I just for months and months and months just kept on. It is a little bit bigger now than what it's always been, but I was like, man, are my finger gonna be like that? It's gonna be like Denzel Washington fingers are and all that. Because
that's how mine are right now. Like I can't.
Yeah, Ron Artest's fingers are like that. Because he a defender, so he always just get his fingers caught in jerseys because he's reaching. And I'm not no reacher like that, so I'm like, I care about what my fingers look like, but
my hands are shot.
Yeah, but I didn't know about the tendon thing like that. I didn't know that was the reasoning. I thought the reasoning was because like people had dislocated fingers.
Yeah, so for mine in particular, I forgot what the name of it was, but so there's a tendon in there that makes your finger basically flex, right? Go up and down. That's the one that I snapped right here. So it's just a little ball right in here where it basically snapped off and in there. So the finger can straighten out, but I have to like move it with my other hands. You know what I'm saying? So I can't control.
I did not know that.
So you've never had surgery on that to reattach that tendon. Okay.
Nope, I didn't. It's like didn't make any sense. I mean, I could still do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, could open my hands wide. I could do whatever. It didn't hurt anything. So I just.
Does it affect your grip strength at all?
If anything, it helps it out because it'll stay right there no matter what. So at least I got one finger that can hang on to everything. Even when these other ones are tired, solid. Yeah. Nah.
Wow. That's awesome. All right, back to basketball. We have 2 home games coming up Saturday against Cincinnati, and then Tuesday for a third time against Colorado, and then the big Saturday matchup on the 22nd against Houston. So this is a good chance to get the rotation set, to get everyone healthy before we face off against Houston. Boy, that Kansas State loss, you brought it up earlier. That home loss is starting to look a little bit better with Kansas State playing so well too.
Yeah, that run right there is really – they're going to get a nice seed in the tournament from that. Barring them don't like going on a losing streak here on out, but they're really playing well. But they're a Big 12 program, so we're not totally surprised. Just not too favorable about Coach Tang and his antics.
Hey, last night with that ESPN game, that ESPN Plus game, was it as glitchy for you watching it as it was for me?
I don't think I noticed it.
Really?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't really think I noticed it.
Did you watch through the ESPN? Because I've also heard to watch it through Disney Plus.
Okay, that's what I watched.
For us, it was.
Yeah, I have Disney that we watch everything through.
Oh.
So
maybe that's the trick, because for us, we had issues, and on top of the glitchiness, of course, last weekend we had that ESPN showing the damn snow. We had no snow.
Yeah, I don't think I really noticed it. It was
which is worse now that you guys are fans and not playing, so you have more opportunity to watch the games. But which is worse, the football season where they show the constant photos and videos of corn, seems like every commercial break, or throwing up video and pictures of snow when there's no snow on the ground in Ames during basketball season?
Those are both equally as bad, but I get so tired of it. It's like all Iowa is corn. Like, that's the only thing they ever talk about. And I'm like, man, that's it. Like there's a little more to Iowa than I'd like to think. But I mean, between that and that's it. Between seeing all that core stuff, man, it's like, well, I guess I'll walk downstairs for these, because no point in sitting up here watching these commercials.
Yeah.
we have fantastic kolaches, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Need to do some marketing in there. That's what I need to switch it up.
So the men, we've got now seven Big 12 games remaining on the schedule before the Big 12 tournament. I think there's still a lot of opportunity with the chance to exact some revenge with that home game on March 1st against Arizona. We all know what happened down there. And then that maybe a bigger game against Kansas State, March 8th, a week later in Manhattan, which is shaping up to be a much, much bigger game now that the Kansas State is playing a lot better than what they were. And then I guess one question I had for you guys is Demarion Watson. He had a chance, and I'm a fan of Demarion Watson. I love his athleticism. I love his hustle. And we didn't see him as much these last two games with the return of Milan Momcilovic. As a player, what's that? How do you deal with that when you've gotten that? First, Demarion played a lot last year. We haven't seen him as much this year. And it looks like maybe his role is going to be a little bit more diminished now with Momcilovic's return. How do you deal with that as a player when you get that taste of playing time and you saw some success, and meanwhile the team is seeing success and is ranked at number 10 now, as high as number 2? How do you deal with that, especially in this new NIL era? And we're talking about a player that was a 3-star recruit. He's a junior. Again, he played a lot last season. Brent, from your perspective, what would be sort of maybe how would you coach for that in keeping him even keeled and ready to go for the next game or the next moment?
Man, I mean, it all really boils down to buy-in, I would say, because end goal is, as a team, is to win the Big 12, but then obviously make a run in the tournament, right? So it's kind of understanding your role and where you fit. Like, you had a good run, it's great. You're showing people what you can do. You just got to keep kind of putting work in. That's you put all the work in, get all the reps in that you can, so that you get your chance. He had his chance. He brought a lot of energy, did a lot of really good things, and that's just one of those things. It's great because now you feel a lot better heading into the tournament of what his potential is. But for guys like that, you just gotta continue to keep coaching the buy-in, because at the end of the day, you never know when that number gets called again. You just got to be ready for it. So.
Yeah.
But you, Marcus, from a basketball standpoint, you probably have a little bit of experience seeing something like that play out.
Well, for the most part, I mean, there's always different things that you can do better. If there's a different role that he's needed on the team now, he needs to lock in a little bit more on that. I mean, with his athleticism, his length, and his speed, if it's 5-10 minutes here of that much, and it's all straight defense, you got to give all 5 of your fouls in 7 minutes. Then go ahead all out and go out and do that. So it's a little different things that you got to do, different roles that's going to help the team win. And if the circumstances change for whatever, good or bad, then that's the time where you capitalize. But at this moment, you don't want to be the sour apple that's going to spoil the rest of the bunch because you just want a few more minutes. Not saying that he will,
So, yeah, we talked a little bit about the men a couple of weeks ago being in a funk, and the women were in an equal funk. Boy, they're really looking good. They're a little bit on a roll. We talked a little bit last week that their upcoming schedule wise were playing teams that were right sort of in that same proximity in the standings. So a chance to make waves. And sure enough, they are making waves. Went 2-0 last week. They've got early part of this week off, a little bit of chance to rest and heal up a little bit before they get into their last games in the Big 12 season. Currently sitting 7th in the Big 12 last week, won by 20 over Cincinnati. That was a game that was just before our show last week. And then Saturday, just walloped Colorado by 30 points, 86-56. Sydney Harris, who had missed the Cincinnati game, was back. Ariana Jackson, who I professed my love for her, and I told my son he needed to maybe ask her out on a date while he had a chance. She had 17 points against Cincinnati and 12 points against Colorado. And really, that outside shot starting to open things up for Audie Crooks down low. Ariana had, I think, 4 threes against Colorado. And then Audie had 33 points, and she made it look easy against Colorado. I was listening to the coach's show on Monday night, and Addie Brown, Coach Fennelly, thinks that it's just a matter of time before she hits a triple-double. Just all-around game. She can pass the ball. She can score the ball. She rebounds the ball. Just a good player that, I tell you what, look out for this women's team. They're starting to show signs of life here that they're going to be contenders here, and maybe even sneak into one of the top seeds in that Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, we always know how they tend to turn it up. They're playing a lot like Kansas State at the moment on the men's side, where, they're figuring some things out. Things are starting to fall into line, and it's the most important time of the season. So we weren't too concerned about them. As the season gets further and further along, you're starting to figure out like what injuries are that you're dealing with, get in better shape for everyone. That's something that's definitely a big key component to it all. So, as the season continues to progress in the Big 12, we know what kind of noise we always make when we get to the tournament for the men and the women. That's always a fun time, and, we always wreak havoc once the NCAA tournament does start. So it's a fun time of year. Hard to believe it's already February. March is right around the corner. So we're going to see what's next.
Well, and I hate the schedule coming up, because Saturday the men play, I believe, at 3:00, and then the women are at Kansas at 4:00. That kind of makes it tough to catch both of those games. And so if you're good at multitasking, Saturday's the day for you.
I'll record in a second.
I got to keep maybe one eye on each. So again, the women play Kansas Saturday at the Fog Allen, and then next Wednesday against Houston. We may have to look at our schedules to see. I'd really like to attend that game. I think it's probably 6:30. Usually the Wednesday nights are 6 or 6:30. Either that, or maybe Shipley could step in for next Wednesday's show. So everyone, it's we're in the fun part of our season. These last 3 weeks, our teams are starting to hit their peak, and they're both looking really good. Let's make sure that we're getting out and cheering on those Cyclones, and both men and the women. Both teams have a lot to play for. Gentlemen, good to see you again. Brent, welcome back.
You guys,
thanks to everyone who's watching online.
Enjoy
Yeah, thanks, Marcus. We'll revisit this in a couple months when it's 130 degrees outside. It'll be nice.
I like the heat, though. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
That's right. It's a dry heat. All right. So thanks, everyone, for joining. It's a privilege for us to have you here, and we have a lot of fun doing this. And again, keep in mind our sponsors, that without them, we probably wouldn't have a show. Again, Revelton Distilling Company and Green Beret Realty, and our studio partner, Andrew Downs and AKC Marketing. So good night, everyone. Good having you, and go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones.